You're about to watch another exciting episode of the Dungeon Run, but did you know that you can actually be part of the adventure? Tune in live on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and you can make your voice heard and help determine the fate of our adventurers. Hope to see you there.
Hi, friends. We are live in 2025, and we are back for another new episode of our Call of Cthulhu campaign, Forbidden. Last episode was such a journey with twists that surprised all of us, me included. So we can't wait to get back into the story, but we have some business to take care of up top. Ronald, would you tell these beautiful folks about our sponsors?
I will. As soon as I open that thing again, there it is. There it is. Hi, we're sponsored by Eldritch Foundry. We talk every episode about all the awesome minis you can create and print with them. So many customizations and designs available. It puts your imagination to the test with Eldritch Foundry. They strive to make every mini look epic, and that includes being able to get them printed in double size. Want your favorite D&D character to look more like an action hero? Get it double-sized. Design and get your minis printed for you, or print them yourself like I do. Go to eldritch-foundry.com and use your discount code, all one word, The Dungeon Run with a capital T, D, and R at checkout to get 20% off. Die Hard Dice is the place to go for gorgeous dice and accessories. They've got gorgeous new designs all the time, like the scintillatingly neon magic of the Dark Nexus design or the icy blue Sky Forge. And if you don't want a whole set, don't forget they've got dire D20s. If you like to roll the big boys, they practice double the size at a normal D20. That's right. It says it. I read it like
sometimes I throw stuff in. Sometimes I throw stuff into Ron's copy that I'm just going to see. Let's see how he says this.
I love it. I love this. Check it out at dieharddice.com, and don't forget to use our coupon code DungeonRun, all one word, D, capital R, at checkout for a discount on us. Our show is made possible by Patreon. Go to patreon.com/thedungeonrun for all the incredible bonus content. For just $5 a month, you get access to cool behind-the-scenes content and our after show, The Short Rest, exclusive only to patrons. Early access to certain content, free activity, and a spot in our long-running D&D campaign run by Morgan. All could be yours if you become a patron. New patron shout out to welcome to Charlie Reeves, Yaziah, and Time Undercover. Welcome all. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Hello. There's so much more fun to be had. Get over to patreon.com/thedungeonrun. Back to you, Morgan.
Thanks, Ron. Now, as you might know, or if you're new here, we are an interactive show where you have the chance to affect our story in unique and surprising ways. That's right. Forbidden is interactive. We took a little time to figure out how to make it work with the Call of Cthulhu, but after last episode, I think we're having a great time with it. Use our custom Twitch extension or the link you can find in the About section of our Twitch page, or you can just go to streamelements.com/thedungeonrun/tip. Now, there's two ways to help or challenge our players. We can choose to give bonus or penalty dice for any player or the keeper. It's just like advantage or disadvantage. And I said this last time. I will note that in Call of Cthulhu, I, the keeper, do roll less. So while I love advantages or while I love bonus dice or penalty dice, it might take me a little longer to get through them. Just know that. But our players will definitely need them. But also, we have the ability to gift any player the power of luck. We are giving you the option of adding 10 luck points to any player's stash that they can use to turn a failure into success. It will be up to them when to spend them, but they will be very, very grateful for the help. And as I noted last time, unfortunately, luck points cannot be used on sanity rolls. Them's just the rules, folks. However, I will say here at the top of the show, I will point out that using some of their free interactivity, Angel Devilson has gifted Charlotte with 10 luck points.
10?
Whoa!
Nice.
So I could burn things more.
No, pour gas on people.
Spoiler alert.
Thank you.
Actually, knowing Angel, they're going to love that. But this episode, we are actually going to roll to regain luck as well here at the top of the show, just like we did last time. So whatever your current luck score is, everybody have that in front of you. For those of you who spent it, I don't know if everybody's spent luck. Some have, some haven't. But let's start with Lexi this time. Lexi, what's your current luck score?
65 still.
Okay, well, roll me a D100, and remember this one, you need to beat it. So you need to get over the 65.
Okay. 84.
Hey! So
Nice.
roll a D10, and you get to add that. You get a little more luck tonight.
I got a 6. Nice. I got the
Nice.
71.
Okay. 71. Rachel,
Insane.
what is your luck score currently at?
Mine is a 59.
59.
59.
Let's hit it.
54.
54. Not quite good enough, though.
Didn't get
That's
it.
all right.
That's okay.
All right. That's all right. 59's not
I
bad.
think I rolled that last time. Like I got
Yeah.
I had 54 or something, and I rolled a 59.
Sounds right. Ron, what are we looking at for Diarmuid?
Hold on, gotta grab my dice. Where are they? Here we go. For Diarmuid, he rolls. 59 is what I have.
Okay.
Currently is my luck, and I need to roll these dice here for 61.
61. Oh, wait. And so that did not. Oh, you did not quite beat it.
It's got to be under, right? Under 59?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wait, then I did.
Oh, no. You have to beat it. No, I'm so sorry. You have to get
I was
over
like,
it.
what?
Oh. Well, then
So
I
you
beat
did
it. I got a 61 over 59.
Nice.
Great. Okay. And Surena, what's your luck? Oh, and roll a d10 to add to your luck point, luck score there, Ron.
Okay.
Oh.
2.
2.
Oh.
You never knew when 2 will come in handy.
Put it in
No.
them.
Fair
My
enough.
luck score is calculated before the added luck, right?
That's correct.
So I rolled over it, 73 over 46.
Whoop. Okay, great.
So I get 8 points of luck.
Nice.
Amazing. That's great.
Yeah. Also, question for the group: can you gain sanity back?
There you can, but it takes a little bit. It happens under special circumstances. We will get to
Wow.
that.
Mhm.
Cool. I'm
You
just
and me both.
well. I'm at 34. What you at, girl?
Not that.
Okay. I was just curious.
Out of 60, I'm at 57, but yeah, I would still like to be full.
Oh, yep.
learn.
Mhm.
Okay, terrific. Okay, well then we have everybody's adjusted luck scores. We're gonna jump right into the story then. Hey, Alex, why don't you take us into the Forbidden? When last we gathered, watchers of the time stream, we were treated to quite a raucous time, weren't we? Our 4 investigators found themselves separated in the oddest of ways as Diarmuid witnessed Lorelei vanishing into thin air, plucked by some monstrous arms and seemingly pulled through a tear in the fabric of reality. leaving him alone in the cold cellar of the Thistledown Golf Club, where the group had been searching for the missing aristocrat, Arthur MacMillan. Calling for help, Diarmuid was able to get the attention of Eden and Charlotte, who came running to assist. But on their way, Charlotte came into direct, smack-you-in-the-face contact with an invisible barrier that seemed to be obstructing part of the golf course. With Eden's help, they were able to make their way around without much issue, but it was obvious that the strange occurrences at the golf club were only getting stranger. They found Diarmuid alone in the cellar, comforting himself with a mantra of sorts after witnessing such an impossible and terrible occurrence. But as they gathered and began to try and discern where Lorelei could have gone, another rift began to appear. They watched in horror as the air parted in front of them and a horrible, monstrous, and misshapen leg stepped through, then an arm. But that was more than enough for Eden and Diarmuid as they opened fire in the small room, and in a hail of gunfire, they effectively blew off the lower portion of this monstrous creature's leg, closing the rift before the horrific owner of said leg could come stepping through. But when it came to the sanity of the 3 investigators in the cellar, one might say the damage had already been done. Triggered by past phobias and past horrific experiences with severed limbs, Dr. Charlotte Mantis was rendered temporarily mad as this vision and this sight of this appearance and then the effective severing of this leg sent them into a down spiral, searching for flammable materials in a race to christen and cleanse this area of this horrible foot and leg.
Charlotte, anti-feet.
New phobia?
Yeah.
But it took a heroic action from Eden themselves, who was able to grab the kerosene from Charlotte before anything worse could happen and doused themselves in a gesture of potential self-sacrifice and a gesture of friendship and strength, which seemed to be enough to shake Charlotte from her madness. But what of Lorelei? Where had she gone? She seemingly, as I said, disappeared into thin air. Well, we'll get to where some of that was. But after a short time, pulled and yanked through strange openings and rifts and portals, Lorelei found themselves on the 2nd floor of the golf club, seemingly moments later, magically. She stumbled about and seemed to feel the presence of someone else, someone that she might have glimpsed in the in-between. And with their terrifying assistance, she was able to find her way through the upper floor of the golf club. She investigated the office and found an even stranger sight in the ballroom, where a ball of detritus and tools and tables and chairs seemed to hover in the air. Smartly discerning that this could be a dangerous proposition to come into contact with, Lorelei made their way around, avoiding it completely, and moving downstairs to try to reunite with her friends. In a mad rush, the 4 were finally reunited at the bottom of the cellar as they decided that they had had enough for the evening. And it was only after, on their way out, when they were given quite a start, as the groundskeeper of Thistledown in the nearby Crowwood Hall, Peter Craig, called out, "Who goes there?" As he had been alerted by the sounds, gunfire, and the lights turned on in the upper floor by Lorelei, the 4 investigators were able to explain away the disturbance and their trespassing, let's be honest. But we will now pick up with them leaving the grounds of Thistledown Golf Club after midnight, Christmas morning, in the lowlands of Scotland.
I forgot it was Christmas.
Wow.
How could you?
Oh.
It feels surreal as the four of you pack yourselves back into the expensive automobile that Eden drove you in from the Dundee train station. It was only 2, maybe 3 hours ago. Yet it may as well have been a lifetime. Diarmuid, carrying with you, wrapped in your coat, I believe. You're holding the heavy, misshapen form of this leg. What are you doing with it?
We're getting in Eden's car, so I would imagine, Eden, if you could pop the trunk.
Easy. Just immediately lift it.
He'll toss it in. Sort of
Your
wipe
bags
his
are
hands.
still packed in the boot. You have a fair amount of shifting around to do to find space for the severed appendage of this strange monstrosity.
Charlotte takes out her bag from the trunk. She puts her bag on her lap. There are how many of us? 3? Charlotte is in. Somebody's in the front, right?
2 in front, 2 in back. I assume there would be room for, yes.
Right. Charlotte sits in the front with her bag.
You sit
In her
you sit
lap.
shotgun. You sit in the front
Yes.
passenger seat with your bag on your lap. Charlotte, you are no longer feeling this rising panic in your chest that you felt back in the cellar. Your heartbeat and your breath has only just begun to slow down. As Eden sits beside you, you're given a stark reminder as the acrid smell of kerosene that still soaks Eden's coat reminds you of how close you came.
Excuse the smell, but
It's not you. It's me. I made you do that, and you did it. And I don't understand exactly why, other than to perhaps save everyone else. But I thank you for it. And I'm sorry that you smell like gasoline, because now you are extremely flammable. And as am I. I hugged you, and now I am flammable. So here we are in the front seat, just nice and flammable.
well,
Together.
And so am I. I mean, it
I
is
think-
in my wound.
I think technically, we're all flammable.
I mean, to be true, yes.
That's
just
true.
go-
Oh,
now.
Diarmuid pulls his pocket watch from his vest, pops it open, and says, "Also, if you're a believer, Merry Christmas."
Merry Christmas. I have a feeling we'll have a lot to be talking to each other about, but first I would really like a shower. A bath of some kind.
We can
Lorelei, you're each now. You were only just reunited with your group mere moments before, and so now sitting in the car, the 4 of you, well, the 3 of you are getting finally a good look at your friend. You can certainly tell that Lorelei is not in any mortal danger at the moment, but you notice blood and something akin to claw marks on her upper left arm. It's staining her blouse. As well as Lorelei, as you're sort of shifting and getting yourself into the car, you probably already feel these bruises where the impact that happened to you. Diarmuid, if you're sitting in the back seat or trying to move into the back seat to sit beside her, you probably have to move a bit gingerly so as not to, you might hear her make a sound of vulnerability of bruising.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all right? Where'd you go? That- There's so much in that sigh just now.
I don't know how to explain it, and I think I might need some time to process what I've been through and what I've seen. I have a feeling that you saw a snippet of what I did. If that leg is anything to go on, I need a moment.
Lorelei, are you still bleeding?
Yes.
So, when we get back to the house, I would love to look at your arm and see if you possibly need stitches, a disinfectant. You certainly don't want to catch an infection wherever you were. I'm sure that those infections would be rather difficult.
Something else, yes. Let me take a shower first and wash myself
course.
off, but there are parts of me I think need to be checked out in case something is broken. I'm in a bit of pain.
Okay, well,
Luckily, bacteria can't grow in kerosene, so
Well,
Unfortunately,
you might get some
not
toxicity from the
necessarily
kerosene.
true, unless like the cut has kerosene in it.
no, the kerosene
it does.
smells really bad, and I think that because it smells so terrible, I need the car to be quiet.
okay.
Continue
Ooh.
striving.
Wow.
Too much.
We just sit
Lorelei just
quietly.
opens the
Eden
window.
Is overwhelmed.
Yeah. I need
There is-
fresh air.
There is an awkward moment as you find
prepared.
yourselves back in this car, but things very different from a few hours before. Peter Craig, the MacMillan's groundskeeper, who I mentioned, motions from the side of the road, sort of waiting to see you drive off to head back the way you came to the entrance of Crowwood Hall. If the group of you sort of watch him a moment longer, you'll see him checking the front door of Thistledown, making sure it's locked, and then he closes the iron gate and walks back along the same road towards the manor house. But yes, with Eden's begging for quiet, and there is just a breathing and a moment as the four of you gather yourselves. Charlotte, even sitting here, you are still, for game mechanics wise, you are still suffering the effects of underlying insanity for the next 8 hours.
Yeah.
So even though you are fully in control of yourself, you still feel this uncomfortable knowledge that mere feet away, in the trunk of this very automobile, wrapped in Diarmuid's coat, is the appendage of that unspeakable thing that came through that rift.
So Charlotte is having what can be described as because she does like logic spiral when she's stressed, and it's inside her head. She thinks the severed leg is in this trunk. The Diarmuid is a very large man. He is very good with firearms. I would not be able to take out Diarmuid physically. I would have to wait until he is sleeping to get that arm. Who would fight me about this or the leg? He brought it. Would anybody notice if it was gone? And so I'm basically like doing a Batman thing where I'm thinking about every single person and thinking about how and if I need to like.
You're having the Sherlock like deductions,
Yes.
Are you doing this out loud as we drive?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
Just wanted to clarify. Clarify.
It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean,
Great
yeah.
question. Great
Batman
question.
sometimes Batman's out loud. I'm just saying.
Sure.
No, she is Sherlocking inside her head only,
Right.
and it's more of just like this hyper vigilance in knowing what everyone's potential weakness is. Should I need to steal something, not hurt anyone? I don't want to hurt anyone. I just need to like know if I need to fight for myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's late. It's past midnight now. It's not a long drive. As you drive roughly 2 to 3 miles back towards the main road. Turning instead of following the road the way you came back to Dundee, you turn instead down a tree-lined private driveway that leads you to the MacMillan's abode. It's not long before you see in the distance the impressive silhouette of this 3-story home with a steepled roof and several chimneys visible around its sizable exterior. A true manor house. And as you get closer, you see even in the darkness, festive decorations. Lights and wreaths adorning the house and surrounding structures. You're reminded that despite all of the mayhem that's happened tonight, as Diarmuid said, It's Christmas.
Well, looks like the quiet game is over. As I park the car. You all can talk now. Sorry.
Your headlights illuminate these front steps leading up to the house where, Eden, as you're pulling in and starting to park it, you see a shorter man with a thin mustache. And despite the late hour, he's dressed impeccably in a finely tailored suit. He gives a short smile and a small wave, though you can probably see from his face that he's not used to being up this late. He indicates for you to park in front. And Charlotte, he even moves to open the car door for you.
Charlotte instinctually, but lets him open the door. And she, like nothing happened, like she was being very normal, takes her luggage from her lap. As we established prior, it has wheels, even though that's not period specific. She takes it, pops it up, and is like, "Thank you."
Hilloff. Good evening. I see Mr. Craig found you. We were told to expect you hours ago. I hope all went well with your journey. May I take your bag, madam? Here.
Oh, no, I will keep it. Actually, yes, you... Nope, I'll keep it. Sorry.
My goodness. Should I call for the doctor?
That's me. I'm the doctor.
Oh.
And I'm
excellent.
fine.
Oh, fine. I see your friend seems to be suffering from a bit of mishaps. I hope everything was up to snuff.
I just fell on some ice when we were getting off the train and fell into an iron gate and...
Oh, goodness.
Yes, well...
Terrible.
Yes,
I'm very unlucky.
Comedy of errors.
I'd be lying if I said that a similar mishaps hadn't befallen me from time to time. Well, please, come in from out of the cold. Leave the bags. I'll have them brought up to your rooms momentarily.
Thank you.
Please, yes, it's quite warm inside.
Morgan,
Charlotte
I will
takes, she
coat.
puts her, down, and the top zipper of her bag, she takes out a little journal. She takes out this journal and, basically a little purse, a waist bag.
Like a fanny pack. No, I'm
Like
kidding.
a fanny pack.
Basically
A period
so real,
fanny
Charlotte.
pack.
Period appropriate fanny pack.
Yes,
Yeah.
she takes it, puts it on real quick, and puts the journal inside, and goes, and then just gestures that the bag is fine to take.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Yes, and the butler. Obviously, you're able to discern as much. Keating is my name. Perhaps if there's anything at all you require, I'm certainly here at your service. Ron, you were saying.
Yes. Diarmuid will make sure to leave his duffel bag, but take the coat with the disembodied leg in it.
I will say you are certainly absolutely able to do that, but as you're holding it,
I'm going to try to keep it, hidden.
even
if I can.
wrapped in your coat, keeping it hidden.
Well, I meant like wrapped in the coat as if it's like
Okay,
in the coat.
like a package.
Right.
Weird question for the DM.
Yes.
Does it smell?
Oh, that was I was about to say. It is starting to smell an acridy now. Since it's fairly fresh, it hasn't quite. Maybe Diarmuid, you're the only one able to smell it as you're holding it. So it's got a fairly small radius of the smell right now. But there is an acridy, sulfury kind of smell, like a mix between cat urine and hard-boiled eggs.
Oh my god.
That's fun.
So you may absolutely continue to hold this under your arm, and Keating may even perhaps. May I? Oh, no, fine.
No, I will hold on to this. I need to make a measurement or two.
Certainly. Well, yes, please come in. And Eden, as you finish locking the car and seeing as to everything, your eyes do catch sight of the silhouette of Peter Craig, the groundskeeper, who seems to be making his way up the walk. You do notice some outbuildings, probably a shed here and there, and some stables. Though those stables look like they're in the midst of being renovated.
Okay.
It seems to be you'd even be able to see like the silhouette of a car, of another car inside the stables, where they've There's no need of horses. It seems the MacMillans quite like the automobiles instead.
Could I throw like a slight wave to Peter Craig to make sure?
Yeah.
Just
He seemed certainly. Even in the dark, you've got the lights of the decorations around the house. They do seem to have some electricity still illuminating the house for the holidays. Though you get the sense that it may perhaps be turned off shortly now that you all have arrived. But yes, Peter Craig, who has hunched over and with a hat on his head to keep himself warm, definitely nods and gives a wave of acknowledgement.
Great.
It's nothing too out of the ordinary.
Great. Wanted to make sure that was him. Okay, so I will go to Lorelei. Do you need any more help? Or getting you inside is... How do you feel about walking is the question.
Not great. If I'm being honest, Morgan, when she was being catapulted around, did she like land on her ankles wrong? Like where aside from the arm, where are her...
I think mostly from what I saw, the impact was along the side, so left side ribs probably, and then falling down the stairs is probably your thighs and your butt.
Yeah. She squints over at the stairs, kind of like she's assessing them, the stairs up to the house, and she's like, as much as I love being carried, perhaps just your arm to get up the stairs.
Of course. And yeah, she'll just offer you her arm.
Thank you.
Mr. Keating.
Yes.
Might I trouble you for 2 jars of formaldehyde?
Formaldehyde. I'm not certain.
I use it to keep my my wool clothes crease resistant.
I will talk to Mrs. Grant about that. I'm not certain that I have it in my inventory, so to speak.
You mentioned a doctor. I thought maybe your doctor might have some.
Well, no, the town doctor is what I meant.
I see.
As you know, the probably can be reached within 20 to 30 minutes. But if we have a doctor here with us, that's always helpful.
Well, if you do happen to find any around formaldehyde, I could use it.
Certainly, formaldehyde. All right. Yes, I will let you know.
And Morgan, just so you know, in 1920s, formaldehyde was used as a cleaning agent, as well as used in the dye and tanning processes, and was used to make clothes crease resistant.
You know what, Ron?
Roll
me a luck roll, buddy.
Oh, great. I'll take that. I'll take a ruckload.
1920s formaldehyde. As soon as you said it, I was like, I should know about this.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a laundress on site, which they likely would have.
Yeah, it's not until 1940 that we were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe not a thing we should do. Yeah. All right. My D100 roll is, wow, a 2.
Ron. All right. Well, that is
just rolling dice.
An extreme luck success. And after kind of creasing his brow for a moment, to kind of formaldehyde. I'm not certain. Actually, you know, I do think Mr. Craig might have some that he was using as for tanning purposes in the in one of the outbuildings. If you give me a few moments, I'll have some brought to you. Though I would ask you to be careful as to where and around the house that you apply it.
Oh, of course, I will make sure to do it outside, even if I need to. It's easy to do.
Excellent. Well, and please, let's have this conversation inside. And he opens the door and he says with a little bit of a whisper to his voice, because you do get the sense that even looking inside, there are still candles and some lamps turned on, but for the most part, it is a bit darker inside. Welcome to Crowwood Hall to all of you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
It's dark here in the foyer, as I said, illuminated by a few candles, but you're able to take in the tasteful interior of the home. It's obvious that in the few months since the MacMillans have moved in, they've done their best to give the house a combined feeling of traditional and modern decoration. Dark oak paneling, marble fixtures, original decorative plasterwork in a Rococo style, featuring details of foliage and thistles, adorning the arches, and a grand central staircase with wide banisters that gleam with fresh wax even in the sparse light. Lady MacMillan is, of course, expecting you. I believe she is still in the parlor awaiting your arrival. Have you dined? I can have Mrs. Grant warm up some plates.
Oh, if it's no trouble, I think we're pretty famished.
Oh, yes. Well, yes, certainly. Well, I'll have some brought straight to you.
Thank
But
you so much.
yes, I know Mrs. MacMillan greatly wanted to meet you upon your arrival. So let's make our way to the parlor.
Lexi, as we're walking, Lexi, excuse me, yes, Eden.
Who is this?
Eden.
Who's
I
Lexi?
I've got
Oh,
one of
my
those faces.
Eden, you
Consumed
do a
by
bit
their
of,
character.
you do a bit of hunting here, yes?
Very true, yes.
Where do you clean your animals?
I suppose that would be one of the outhouses, but it's under renovation these days. I can still take you by there if that would be helpful.
After our meeting here with the lady, I think that might be, we'll take the formaldehyde with us and do a bit of experimentation.
Well, sounds good to me.
Starting to stink a bit.
Ugh. You see, her sense of smell has been muted this entire time, and as soon as you say that, just like a waft of it. Oh god.
Lorelei is still holding on to you, but she has a handkerchief pressed up to her face now. Just
The
Sure.
proximity that Charlotte has to Diarmuid is almost comical. Like, I am as far away from you as it is socially acceptable that we
You're
are
like
still
walking
in the
next to
same
Keaton.
group. Yeah.
Sure. Makes total sense. As I said, your bags will be brought up to your room straight away, and due to the hour, they should be ready for you to retire in just a few minutes after you've spoken to Mrs. MacMillan and had something to eat, of course.
Thank you. And Keaton,
Yeah,
that's
Keating, yes.
Keating. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Charlotte Mantis. Wonderful to
Dr.
meet you.
Mantis. So wonderful to meet you as well. I hope you've had a pleasant journey so thus far from New York City, I understand.
Well, it has certainly been an eventful one, but I'm so happy to be here and to help wherever we can.
It's so greatly appreciated.
Mhm.
We've all been struck with such worry over the odd circumstances of the last month. So we are very grateful for the help. It's unfortunate that the local constabulary has not been able to provide much comfort for the lady.
Yeah.
But with that, he guides you to one of the main doors off the foyer and opens it into a beautifully furnished parlor where a warm fire burns in an ornate fireplace. In the corner of the room, you see a tastefully decorated Christmas tree, although it looks a bit lacking in sentimentality or items of familial importance. It's more like a beautifully decorated display in a department store. But as the door opens, you hear a woman's voice from inside speak with a start, as if woken by the sound of the door. Arthur! Is that you? Keating gives you, Charlotte, an apologetic look as he steps inside first. No, madam. It's Keating. It's quite late. But you said you wanted to be alerted when the contingent from America arrived. Seated near the fire in a comfortable chair with a blanket on her legs and her hair looking a little unkempt as if she'd just been caught napping, is a stately woman in her late 50s, her chestnut hair streaked with white. She adjusts herself in her chair, pulling herself upright and gesturing for you to come inside, please. Ah, thank you. Her clothing is expensive. She very much looks the part of New York high society, only now transplanted here to Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
But Charlotte, you see immediately that her eyes flash with some hopeful excitement, and she gestures at a pair of nearby chairs and a fashionable love seat. Sit. I'm so happy you've arrived. Tea, brandy, Keating, bring them something warm. I'm sure it's awful outside.
a whiskey, please.
Make that 2.
Whiskeys, yes, absolutely.
Got 3, actually.
3.
Brandy, please.
Cold night.
3 whiskeys, brandy, and tea.
Yes.
I shall be back post haste. Oh, and Keating, was Mr. Craig able to see about the lights in Thistledown? There should absolutely be no one on those grounds, unless those terrible policemen decided to take a midnight stroll. And there is an awkward pause as Keating looks to the side. Yes, about that. I believe I was told by Mr. Craig that our new visitors might have something of an explanation to that end.
That was us. I'm so sorry. We were a little gung-ho to see the premises before we went to sleep. You know, all that about you get your best ideas right before sleep. We thought perhaps if we saw the place where it happened, we might get some ideas. I apologize. We should have let you know.
Not necessary. Thank you. Getting a closer look at Mrs. MacMillan, it's obvious this is normally a very attractive older woman, but there's no denying that her features look pained with tiredness and worry. She scans the four of you. Well, thank you. I'm eager to hear.
Yes. With Miss MacMillan being in the current state she is, but also understanding where we were in the house, what we experienced, would I be able to roll a psychology to understand her state of mind a little more?
I would love that. Be my guest.
Great. I'm not a fighter. I'm a thinker. That is a regular success.
A regular success. Okay,
Yes.
great. So you, as I said, what's immediately apparent is that she's quite at the tiredness and worry, but the excitement at your arrival. She's scanning the four of you, wanting to get the sense of you, but also as if she is desperate for help.
Yes.
And is hopeful that it has finally arrived. You see her eyes flit, and her hand will even go out to touch a framed photograph that is sitting at a small table to her left. And you'd even be able to see that it seems to be, at least first glance, a photograph of her husband.
Mm-hmm.
There's, I will say, with a regular success, as you've pointed out, the man has been missing for almost a month. But there is something, I mean, even the fact that she called out his name upon the
Yes.
door opening. There is something not as resigned as you might expect someone who has been missing their husband for a month.
Like her faith is unwavering that he is still
Yes.
able to be found,
Yes.
and that he perhaps will come home.
Yes.
Interesting.
But and it doesn't seem, it's hard to say. With a regular success, it's hard to say, but you don't notice any telltale signs of mania.
When Lorelei mentioned that when we went to the house, did her expression change at all, other than worry, or was there
I think you
any
saw surprise.
acknowledgement? Okay.
I think you saw surprise, and I think you also saw just a moment of disappointment, hearing
see.
that it was just the four of you.
I see. Okay.
Morgan,
Yes, sir.
couple quick fire questions. Are there
Sure.
plants in the room other than the tree?
Yeah. I mean, probably not a lot, but yeah, probably some nice.
Are
enough
they
house-
well kept?
Yes.
Is there dust on any of the mantles or tables or furniture at all?
No.
Okay.
Everything seems. I mean, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing to a point of seeming.
Right.
Out
of place.
Yeah, this isn't a who's the character in Great Expectations? Mrs. Havisham. This is not a Mrs. Havisham situation. She
Okay.
does seem to have, and you've heard talk of there is help in the house. Everything
Right.
seems lovely.
Right.
But
It's more of just making sure that all of the help is in the house, and that I expect is in the house, and they're doing their jobs is more of what I'm.
correct. As
looking
far as
for.
you can tell at this moment, nothing
Okay.
seems out of place or
Great.
strange.
Is there any indication that there is a safe in this room?
A fascinating question. Not at first glance. Certainly.
Can I
You can try. You
Look
can try.
around
spot
while
him.
we're talking.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Sure.
Charlotte is basically like code switching into being. She understands like she's also an American. She's also from New York. Charlotte has been and has taken care of a lot of very wealthy people as well. All sorts come into the hospital, but yeah, to be an educated woman in Chicago in the 1920s, you are in a certain group.
Certainly.
21 under 30.
With a regular success, I mean, you see framed paintings. Maybe if you weren't in mixed company, you feel as if you would, like, maybe a couple places you would look, but nothing that you can immediately tell as if there would be a safe in this room.
Great.
But Lorelei, she seems to be looking at you, and her eyes stop on you as well. I'm afraid I don't know where to start.
Of course, I lost my husband as well. I understand feeling so rudderless in a situation, especially when you don't have a body. Waleed's body was never found, so I fully understand where you are right now.
Goodness. I'm so sorry, and she'll reach out and she'll even touch your hand if you'll allow.
Oh yeah, she gently takes her hand as well.
That's so terrible. This has all been so strange.
Mm-hmm.
It's so awful.
I wish I could tell you it gets easier. I believe at some point it does. But for a while, I thought I was seeing him around every corner, and every sound in the house was him. I thought he was talking to me.
Roll a psychology roll when you say
Yeah!
Let's go!
I was planning to do that specifically, because I think that we have a lot in common.
My players are sneaky. What'd you roll with that face?
My psychology's a 10, but I rolled a 3.
Hey!
Wow. That's amazing.
Wow, a hard success on a 10.
Wow. 003!
That's pretty great.
I was sitting here thinking about the probability of how I could get under a 10, and I was like, wow, I really wanted to, and then I did it! Sorry, I'm very excited about that.
No, I love it. At the mention, and as what you're sharing this and talking about seeing and hearing things, you see her brow furrow in a way as yes. She seems in that moment to hold something back. But you do see when she gets even the sense that you're possibly even trying to comfort her that this is normal.
Yeah.
Or you see kind of a rejection of that thought. Does that make sense?
It's obvious Lorelei wants to say something, but she's not going to push this woman because she has been in this situation. She knows how horribly painful this is. So she just gives her hand a gentle squeeze and she says, Mrs. MacMillan, if you would ever like to talk, please know that I'm all ears. I have experienced this for 2 years. I believe we would have quite a bit to talk about.
Make a persuasion roll.
Okay. Oh God. What is my persuasion? It's a 50.
Nice.
It's an 82.
Ooh.
You got a lot of luck, but I don't know if you want to burn all that.
All of it? No, it's okay.
I've spoken to our friends. Arthur's contacts in Dundee and London, all over the States.
Of course, but there is always something different about talking to a woman your age, around your age, someone who has for me it was a group for widowers, and I felt so silly going to it. But speaking to other people who had lost their significant others was very soothing.
Any sign, any insight of what might have happened? I mean, was he hiding things from me? I've told all those close to us that my ego can take the blow. Just tell me, but there's nothing.
I will say we did not see any sign of him traipsing about. So, if that helps.
Yes, so you've been to Thistledown. And as she says that, there's a soft knock on the door, and Keating returns with a fine silver platter carrying a teapot and some cups, as well as three whiskeys neat.
3 brandy, yes,
And
correct.
All for me. One for you and one for the road, thank you.
One for each horror I've experienced.
Yes.
One for every sanity point lost.
That's a drinking game.
Oh no.
As well as some biscuits and finger sandwiches, both of the sweet and savory variety. Apologies, Madam. Here are the refreshments. Mrs. Grant is also preparing 4 plates, and he'll set it down on the small side table for each of you to help yourselves, though he will offer the whiskeys and the brandy to those who requested it.
Lorelei's gonna stop him and just very gently tell him, you don't have to make a plate for me. I'm not feeling peckish. I just don't want you to go through the trouble.
Understood. Are you certain?
Yes, very.
All right. Well, I will let her know.
Thank you.
All right. And she, Mrs. MacMillan, gives a kind wave. Arthur is not a young man, and he's been missing for weeks and weeks. Those hideous detective inspectors in Dundee seem to not have a concern in the world. They poked and ambled around the club for an hour or 2 at most. Came out shrugging their shoulders. I haven't heard from them since.
In my experience, I've learned that police often are wildly incompetent. So I'm glad we're here.
What did you find? Anything of note? Anything of change? Or...
Well, no sign of Arthur. Speaking of, did he definitely changing the subject, because I don't know how much we want to talk about this.
There's a look. Yeah.
Speaking of change or signs of Arthur, did you notice any signs in him before his disappearance? Any journal that he kept? Any mention of, I don't know, worlds unseen, or places that he wants to go, or places he was afraid of?
Not that I... No, he wasn't a big journaler, my husband. He was, as I think, he was quite upset at the slowness of the restoration of the golf club. It had become his pet project, just as this house had become mine. But,
why was it so slow?
Well, I've actually invited the foreman, Mr. Nairn, to come in the morning to speak with you all, and perhaps he can offer a bit more insight into that. But from what I could gather, there were complaints from the help, from the labor. One knows not how much to believe, but they reported headaches, illnesses, things of that nature. Specialists would come in to work on the woodworking, and then after a couple of days would not show up for work.
Are there any specific workers that you know that we could talk to?
I don't. Mr. Nairn certainly would be the one, and he as the foreman, he was there for all of it. I think he, from best we could gather, he was the last. He was the last to see Arthur walk into the club.
Understood. Before it was a golf house, what was it before? The building?
As I understand it had always been a golf club, though it had been, I believe it was originated in 1903, and it was a bit of a failure, as I understand it. It had been left abandoned. And when we found this house, and Arthur, the golf club was like a magnet to Arthur, and he saw he's a man who likes his projects.
If we wanted to find some more information out about previous owners or what was there before, what
Yes.
do you suggest?
I know Mr. Nairn has the plans. I believe he plans to bring them tomorrow. I had asked him for any helpful information he thought the four of you might need. Arthur, but I'm afraid beyond that, and perhaps you could go into town if there was anything additional, but...
Would... And after dinner, of course, and only with your permission, would I be able to go into... I am assuming you and Arthur share a room. Did Arthur have a study?
Yes. Honestly, he didn't spend much time there, but yes, you could.
Where did he think? Did he usually men with jobs such as he usually have a place where they contemplate things, where they write their plans, where they work?
He did like to get his hands dirty. I do think most of that would have been at the club.
The club. I see. Okay.
Morgan,
Yes.
you said they had a son, right?
It's 3 sons.
3 sons.
3 sons?
Are there photos of them?
Oh, yeah.
In this room, yes. In fact, speaking of photos, yes, there are several photos here in the parlor. Though it's quite a larger house, you probably see a couple frame photographs on the mantle or on a shelf here and there. You see that he has 3 adult sons. And you'd heard of one of them, the oldest prior to this, and you perhaps would have known from the research that Bennett Hirschbaum had given you that they are from a previous marriage of Arthur's. And they have taken over the business of the publishing company that Arthur had recently retired from. But you do see a few photos. And as if you're looking around, actually, I will say real fast that she'll even offer, and Lorelei too, she'll offer you the small frame photograph of her husband that's sitting next to her and sort of hand it to you to have a look.
Okay. Yeah, she just commits it to memory as much as she can.
Sure. Serena, what were you going to say?
Oh, just so for clarity for me, when you say previous marriage, his previous marriage or her previous marriage?
His previous marriage.
Okay.
They are his children from a previous marriage. She is their stepmother.
Cool. Thank you.
Lorelei, as you look at this photo, it's a photo of the familiar form of Arthur MacMillan that you see, and he's standing in front of Crowwood Hall. You've already rolled so well on a psychology roll. I won't make you roll it again.
Okay.
You do notice something. His smile, he just has the look of someone who maybe would rather be someplace else.
Yeah. Looks trapped.
As he stands in front of this manor house.
Okay.
But he's making, it's a well-practiced proud maneuver, that almost that Teddy Roosevelt style, like, chest puffed out, hand on hip. This, of the familial home. But I mean, yeah, with your extreme success on that psychology roll, you can tell that it's just something uncomfortable.
Waleed had that same face when he had to go to conferences. I know that face. She hands it back and she starts shifting a little uncomfortably, and she says, "Not to alarm you, because I'm sure it's nothing, but when we were at the house, I thought for a moment I saw a man on the road. I was wondering if you knew him. He was blonde, and he had his hair tied back, and he was wearing glasses. Middle-aged. No?
Doesn't ring any bells. No.
He must have just been passing.
Must have. And now I see where you're going with this. The photos, you don't see anyone, the blonde, ponytailed gentleman that you saw.
Okay.
I feel like Lorelei, you feel the eyes of both Eden and Charlotte on you. Based on your expression, Lexi, as you're talking about this blonde man.
Yeah, she's not meeting your eyes.
No. You just feel them in the back of you, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, I think she's gonna down her whiskey pretty fast.
But she, having had this moment with each of you and sort of shared this moment with you, Lorelei, I don't mean to be... I don't mean to sound egotistical or privileged. I know how I might sound. I know that I don't seem to have many facts on my side at this moment, but I'm certain that my husband is out there somewhere.
What is it that makes you certain?
I'm not... I hear him. And it's not a memory. I
understand. And she's trying to like get Mrs. MacMillan to look at her to be like, I understand.
He's pleading.
What does he say?
Help me. Find me. It's not as... It's him. I know it's him, but it's like it's in a way I've never seen him. He's a proud man. And he...
Looks frightened.
Terribly.
Miss MacMillan, I do want you to know that it's okay to believe in the unbelievable sometimes.
Yes.
And that we will do what we can to make sure that you can believe one thing or another again. But hold on to that.
I knew I wasn't a fool for seeking outside help. Thank you. Keating, I'm sure will have prepared your rooms by now, so please get something to eat and get some rest. I will attempt to do the same.
I was just going to say, you've been waiting up all night for us, and that's incredibly rude of us, so thank you for your hospitality, and please, go get some rest.
That's very kind. I haven't been sleeping well besides, so it's no
I know
trouble.
the feeling.
Sleep well.
But she stands, and she makes it a point to shake each of your hands with a resolute nod of her head, and then exits out the door and up the stairs. For the moment you're alone.
Charlotte takes the whiskey like a shot. Or the brandy like a shot, specifically brandy, yes.
Sure.
Love that. Before we leave, I just want to do a cursory look around. I want to see... I know we've already looked for things that are kind of suspicious and freaky. I think...
I'm right here.
Trying not to meet your gaze. Yeah, I think I'm looking for, like... oh gosh, like a handkerchief that doesn't belong to her, or I don't know, like things that kind of imply that someone else has been here other than her. And I'm not really looking for like freaky purposes. I'm just like trying to see if there's any sort of dirt here.
Sure. Roll me a spot hidden.
I'm really good at this.
Can I also just kind of vaguely look around? I think she's pretty much still sitting because she's in so much pain she doesn't want to move, but
Sure.
she would still be observing.
While you're observing and looking, in one of the directions you are looking, Charlotte is standing there. I've gotten up. I am by you. So you can still look. Please roll. But,
oh god! I rolled all zeros.
Oh, what does that mean?
100.
It's 100.
Really
I'm
not
fully
good.
just blocking you. I think
Yeah.
that's what that means.
Okay, so it's a very low. That is a low stakes fumble. We call that a fumble. It's a very low stakes fumble. So, Lorelei, I will say, as you are trying to look around, something about how you shift yourself catches you in the side and just gives you a.
Yeah, she is gonna start to kind of very gently ease herself up off the chair and look over to Eden and say, "When you have a moment, would you help me to my room?"
Immediately rushes over.
Oh no, you keep looking. It's fine. Just running on fumes here.
I would like you to resolve your role because I need to talk to Lorelei. So please.
I guys were like, "You wanted a 0? I'm gonna give you all."
Yeah. Well,
All of them.
I am fully. I took a shot and I beelined to you because you're in pain. You are hurt. I don't give a shit right now about or a heck right now about what's happening right now. You are hurt.
She will do her work no matter what. Yes.
I'm a doctor, a medicine person. That is me. A medical doctor.
Dr. Mantis, medicine
I'm
person.
Dr. Mantis.
Medical person.
Medical person.
MP. It's you.
I would have watched that show. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. House MP. I got a 69 under 75.
So nice. Okay, so that's on the spot hidden. You're just looking for anything out of the ordinary, anything that shouldn't be there.
Maybe, yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, more like, yeah, I don't know. You kind of know my intentions in this situation, but
I think I do. I think your eyes go back again to the Christmas tree, and as I described it, there is something quite beautiful, but nothing lived in about it. It's not truly out of the ordinary. It just seems to sort of perhaps this is her decorating style, and it's just sort of, not as warm as one might want, or what someone else might want, but also this is a house that's been in a constant state of worry for over a month at this point. And so while they seem to be going about the motions of the holidays, there is something literally missing. Besides that, I mean, you peruse the photos, you see, books that you might see in the parlor of rich high society types, things that probably some that you recognize, but nothing truly out of the ordinary in this moment. More just a sort of a feeling and a vibe around the house.
okay. I think with that, Eden will. Miss MacMillan looks like she's kind of done talking for the night.
She's she's left the room.
Yeah, she's gone. So I will wait for the group. I think Eden sees herself as the escort, even though she's like also hired by the same people as everyone else.
You're our peer.
Yeah.
You know that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No,
You
I'm
are
your
the head of
chaperone.
the group.
No, you're the adult, actually.
Yes, you are
as
the
established.
You
No,
are
you're
the
right.
adult in this group of children.
Right. So I'm
We're
like
not
eating
child, we're
finger foods, but I'm
doctor.
also just trying to see what's going on. I don't leave the room until they do. And I'm sure Diarmuid feels the same of just like, I'm gonna see what happens here, and when everyone leaves, remind you all, okay, we've got rooms, we've got to go to bed, we've got to get to the morning. Other than that, we're all good.
I've got to get this into some formaldehyde as quickly as possible.
Ugh.
That smells disgusting.
It's only going to get worse.
Ugh,
Moments later, please.
why do we have it?
Yes. Why? Why do we?
Well, because there's clearly something going on, and it's the biggest clue we have.
Having something is better than having
Clue
nothing.
or a curse?
Aye, well, sometimes they're the same.
What if it goes ahead?
Interesting.
What if it thumps away in the middle of the night?
Speaking of
Well,
thump,
then it'll tell us something, won't it? At least gives us some information.
I'm sorry.
I don't like that look, Morgan.
Oh, I'm thinking what Charlotte's reaction
Yes.
will be to if you ask that question.
Actually, you say that out loud if it thumps in the middle of the night, and
Oh, no.
because Charlotte is by you,
Mm-hmm.
and also slightly mad inside.
Yep, underlying madness still
Underlying
going
madness. I've been waiting very patiently to examine you here now that we are in privacy. But in this moment, I sort of just like jerk your arm a little bit.
Ah,
Oh, sorry.
gentle doctor, please.
Yes.
It's my intention to take care of it so it doesn't thump away in the night. But I want to do some things to it before I do that.
All right,
So,
well,
Charlotte-
tie it down.
Oh.
Charlotte, if
Sorry,
you were looking
wasn't
to
yelling.
administer to Lorelei in this moment, so first aid rolls, and I will say first aid is available if the person has been injured within the last hour. I will say we are coming very close to that because it was a very short drive. But that's still, you are still within that time. So if you would like, you can roll a first aid roll to help her regain some hit points in the immediate.
Wonderful.
There are also medicine rolls that you can make, but administering a medicine roll takes some time.
Yes. I rolled a regular success. 35 under 50.
Excellent. Okay. And with that, as Charlotte, though her bedside manner is a little intense.
And she also has like nails, like and so I think it's when she grabs you, it's like her nail kind of like dug into you just a little bit.
Yeah. I think she can tell that you are tensed up about it. So she looks at you and she's like, I'll make sure he ties it down in case it moves. I doubt it will. It's severed from the body, but you know,
No.
just
So
for your peace of mind.
oh, the more we keep talking about it, the worse it gets. Do you
Sure.
understand what that means?
Yes, doctor.
So, what I will say to you, and she has a little bit of a frenzied look as she is fully disinfecting your arm, and I would like to apply stitches so it stops bleeding. So I am stitching you up
Ma'am,
currently, if that is okay.
you are going to have to sedate me to put a needle in me, ma'am.
Would you like me to do that, or I can give you
No.
more whiskey?
No, doctor.
You are
Just tell me-
bleeding, and it
Yes.
is pretty deep.
Sure, just tell me how bad it is, but don't stick a needle in me.
Right. It should be closed. It can stay open. It can coagulate on its own. However, we are going to be out in the elements, and so your risk for infection is especially high, considering the diameter of these cuts. So it is completely up to you. I do not have to stitch you up. I would prefer to, because I would prefer to not have to amputate your arm should it get infected. The
Your
amputation
bedside
is
manner,
quite a.
You know, doctor, your
Hmm.
bedside manner leaves just a little to be desired. Can we
Well-
just wrap it up for tonight so that I can go get all of this off of me and perhaps if we have to stitch it up, we do it tomorrow with
Yes.
daylight.
Well, if I'm going to be honest, and I feel like I should be because we have a severed arm here, or severed leg. I keep thinking it's an arm. Sorry, it's sort of a Flashback to an arm I used to know.
What a statement. But continue.
An arm I used to know. Anyway.
Just an arm. That's my favorite song.
All I'll say is by the time morning happens, it will likely be too late to administer any stitches because the blood would have coagulated, thus leaving you a scar, which is okay. It's fine. You're fine. You're not going to die. It's just you are at high risk of infection.
Fantastic.
Yes.
You all made it quite far for catastrophizers, I'll say.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Not a catastrophizer. I just have experienced limbs moving on their own before. And so when there's jokes about limbs moving on their own before, it hits me in a certain way that is very unsettling.
Let me be honest right
We
now,
noticed.
since we are friends.
Sure. Yes.
You are perhaps in a state of mind right now that makes me not feel very comfortable with you putting a needle in me, if I'm just being honest. However,
Sure.
I do understand that I may be in some danger, so how can we calm you down so that you can sew me up, not in a frenzy?
Oh, I'm so sorry. If I've alarmed you in any way.
A little, yes,
in
actually.
Don't be fooled by what I'm saying. I'm very, very apt. I am very well sought out and high credentialed as a doctor. The fact that I'm even feeling a little stress is actually good because adrenaline does fuel me. I'm just saying the things that are true out loud so you know what the consequences are of your own actions. Is that a frenzy or is it being honest? You tell me, Lorelei.
No, it's not what you're saying.
Sure.
It's how you are saying.
How am I saying it?
What happened to you?
Oh, I think I said it out loud already.
No, you did not. There's something off about you. You are more manic than usual.
Am I manic? Sometimes.
Yes, you
Interesting.
are.
I like to be safe. And I think that it's important that we stay safe together. And in order to stay safe, we have to practice precautions, because if we don't practice precautions, then things go bad and things get worse. Like the precaution we didn't practice when we went into the house and you got clawed and sucked away by potentially a monster. Does that make sense?
I do have questions about that, Lorelei, actually.
Yes.
The blonde person. Also, where's the formaldehyde? We still need to figure out where to get the formaldehyde from.
I'm not quite ready to have these awkward conversations yet, as we still don't have any idea of what we're dealing with. So what are we gonna actually figure out?
There is a soft knock on the door of the parlor.
Ugh.
It's as if they heard us talking about them.
Keating pokes his head at the dinner is ready if anyone is feeling hungry.
Did we hear
Thank you so
footsteps up to the door in that moment or earlier, or could I possibly see if maybe he was standing outside listening for a little while?
Oh, interesting.
Oh, God.
I mean, I was going to say with the heated discussion, I think it would be probably pretty difficult. What's your? I don't think we have passive perception, passive spot hidden in Call of Cthulhu. But what is your spot hidden score? Okay, you have a good
spot
listen.
hidden score is 75.
Oh,
But listen is different, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I've got a good listen as well. I've got a 40 in listen.
Nice.
Okay. It's hard to tell because it is quiet at night, and he is, as he was walking you through, he was speaking in hushed tones, so he was being careful not to be loud at this time of the evening. But you did. The knock did seem to come at a perfect time, at a perfect pause in the conversation, as if someone had been waiting for it.
Right. Thank you, Keating.
Yes. And he motions, and behind him walks in a pleasant, albeit tired-looking woman in her 40s with sensible short hair, and the two of them are rolling a small cart quietly into the parlor, carrying plates with roast, winter vegetables, rolls and butter and a sweet pudding. Keating gestured towards his companion. Mrs. Grant outdid herself for Christmas this year. There was plenty left over. I'm happy to see it not go to waste.
Charlotte lets out a comforted sigh, as if she hadn't been doing any of that. And it's just like, it's time to eat.
And Keating also, just since he was sort of reading the room, leaves the bottle of whiskey on the table, on the small table that he rolled in. Enjoy, take your time, and feel free to leave the plates here, and we'll get them in the morning.
Keating, could you perhaps show me to my room? I'm not feeling very well, and I would like to lie down.
Certainly, it's upstairs. Yes.
Thank you.
And Mr. Diarmuid, was it?
Yes.
O'Reilly.
Close enough.
No, Ronnie.
Mr. Craig has
Thank
been
you.
instructed to leave. Thank you. Sorry. My sincerest apologies. Has been instructed to leave some of the tanning formaldehyde on the front step. I believe you'll find it there currently.
Lovely.
But yes, please do take it outside for obvious
Of course.
reasons.
Yes. I believe Eden was going to show me to where you clean your game.
Yes. They haven't quite had the regular practice of that since the MacMillans have moved in. But I believe you'll find space in the garage or the stables.
Lovely.
Yes.
Lovely.
But you'll find 3 rooms on the second floor. One is a double, if that isn't a problem. But please, Ms. Shepherd, if I may.
Yes, thank you very much.
By the way, from some of Charlotte's ministrations, you did regain 1 hit point.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
And perhaps in the that Charlotte was able to do some bandaging and cleaning of the wound, though not to the fullest extent, obviously,
Yeah.
that she wished.
Yeah, I think that Lorelei is just going to take that chance,
Yeah.
Okay.
at least for the night.
But Keating very gently guides you up the stairs, and you're able to find 3 rooms set aside. As he said, the first one contains the 2 beds side by side. And the rooms look quite cozy with ample blankets, keep out the chill, and with all the basic amenities. There's a small electric lamp next to the bed, and he's like, if you'd like the single, you may take this one, of course.
I would love a room to myself. Yes, thank you.
Yes. And he leaves you be. But and with that, I'll bid you good night, madam.
Thank you. And I'm so sorry that we put you out on such a night as Christmas Eve.
I'm grateful for your arrival.
I hope we can help. And she, as soon as he is gone, closes the door, heads to the bathroom, locks herself in.
Before he heads out to get the formaldehyde on the front stoop, Diarmuid looks at Mrs. Grant and says, "It looks like you've made quite a meal here, Mrs. Grant. I appreciate you doing all that hard work."
It's no trouble at all. It's what I do best.
If I could, in the morning, could I come and talk to you for a bit? I'd like to talk a little bit about your bread pudding recipe there.
Oh, certainly. Whatever I can do to be of help.
You are too kind.
Please. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy it.
You as well. And help. You said there's bread pudding. What else is on
Bread pudding,
on
roast, winter vegetables, rolls and butter, and the whiskey.
Diarmuid will take a couple rolls, look at Eden. Would you like some?
Eden's also walking up. Yeah, make 2 plates, please.
Right.
2.
I'm in the same boat. I'll make us 4. And I'll, quick plates, but enough for two, not American-sized, European-sized two plates,
for
which is
sure,
one
yes.
American plate, which is one American plate.
It's not quite the Old Town buffet special.
Right.
Mhm.
It's not quite Golden Corral, you know.
It's not a Vegas buffet.
But I will also grab the whiskey, leaving the glasses and just taking the bottle. And then, Eden, if you're ready, we should probably go do this.
Charlotte is still there with you, though. There had something of an awkward separation as Lorelei was taken up to bed. But.
Yes. I think that internally, Charlotte, externally, that's what happened. But internally, she is sort of like, nervous for people and being like, everyone is like, we need to like work together and everyone is leaving. But like, if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do. And
you're welcome to join us if you wish, but
Oh.
I have the thing you seem to be a little hung up on.
Yes.
Would it help if I cut it up and then you could like burn it? Would that help you?
Strangely, yes, but I will let you.
Well, I mean, like,
handle
let me
this.
do with what I need to do, and then I'll bring you a bundle of burlap to burn in a bucket.
I mean, if you just burned it, that would also work. I
Okay,
don't.
fine.
I don't physically
didn't
need to burn
know-
it. If you
see.
can extract, I mean, let me level with you, Diarmuid.
Yeah, please.
Um.
You can always level with me, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
You seem.
I appreciate your ability to be honest, even if it's hard to hear it. I appreciate how honest you really are. It's
Sorry.
refreshing. It's also very military.
Oh, I've never been told that before. I have been told I can be sort of a stickler in the surgery room, but
When people are dying, you need people like that.
I agree. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So if I am to level with you,
Please.
prior to the reason why I have this concern and consideration, is this is not my first time dealing with things that I can't explain, and I know that you and Eden here are an incredibly rational, reasonable people, and I have long stopped caring whether or not people believe me, because when you experience things that can't be explained by the logic as it exists on this plane of existence, it becomes less necessary for that belief. What I can say is I had a colleague a long time ago. Well, actually 6 months ago. Has it been 6 months? 7 months. Oh, time is weird.
Indeed.
Well, he's dead now because of his own hubris. You see, he was involved with some rituals that
The occult, you mean?
yes.
Hmm.
In that work that he had done, his we were doctors, you see. He was interested in life, but to be a doctor, you have to have the balance between life and death. As you know, Hecate would say that you are. I'm sorry. As we would say, life is death, right? We all meet the same end at the end. We all have an end. But my colleague decided that perhaps he would explore not having an end, immortality.
Have you read Mary Shelley?
Frankenstein.
Yes.
It's
Fascinating book.
fascinating indeed. using electricity to reanimate a corpse, stitching the corpse together with various parts. Quite impractical, because, you know, where do you source them? And as it would turn out, being a doctor gives you lots of access. So less of a electricity situation and more of a something else situation. And, well,
That was a bit vague. I thought you were leveling with me.
okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, look, if you're going to give me the energy, I'm going to give it back to you.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. You actually...
I know, that's why I said that.
Yeah, because here's the thing. And you see this like look in Charlotte's eyes, this intensity. She is fully with you. But what she says is, usually when I give people the answer straight away, or how I'm feeling straight away, it becomes my problem. But I trust you. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Achoo. The parts came to life, Diarmuid, each of the parts individually. The idea of intestines crawling through a vent to strangle. Well, after seeing that, it's not impractical to think that this leg would come to life. It's not impractical of me. I am not crazy for thinking that. In fact, I'm quite logical for assuming this.
No, you seem quite logical to me. I would say that for sure. Sane or crazy, I'm not skilled or educated enough to make that determination. What I can tell you is that trying to burn down a building because of something you're afraid of doesn't strike me as rational.
Well, I did lose myself for a second, didn't I?
Indeed. And if you've run into this before, I could see maybe why you reacted the way you did. That gives me a little bit more...
The only way to destroy it is fire.
Well, acid could work, I imagine.
Acid. Interesting.
Yes, acid. Seems to be a bit more effective at getting rid of flesh, if you ask me. It occurs to me, Charlotte. You don't seem and this might be presumptive of me, and if it is, please, I apologize. You feel free to let me know, and I'll take it back. But it seems to me that you're not often taken serious by people you encounter. At least that's the feeling I get from the way you speak of yourself. Is that accurate?
Well, I used to be very well respected until I started telling the truth. And as it so happens, when you tell people the truth, they believe you less.
Yes. Well, I'm going to level with you.
Yes, please do.
I am a man of science. Everything has a reason and a ration to it. Even if that reason and ration is there are monsters. That could be reasonable and rational. We need to find evidence of monsters, and we have.
We have. You're right.
Right. So for me, I need your help in preserving the evidence so that when people go, "You're insane," I can go, "Fuck no, I'm not." And here's why. So that what's happening to you stops happening to you. I don't know what you ran into. I don't know if your friend was Mary Shelley or some other type of different person, a Frankenstein-like person. But I can tell you this. This isn't the first time I've run into anything that wouldn't necessarily be immediately explainable. In fact, part of why I do what I do is to try to find those edges where maybe I get a little bit more information than I had before. And hopefully over time, the great spirit willing that I be here, I might be able to stitch it all together. The fact that I met you, I have a feeling that wasn't by coincidence. So I know seeing this thing outright is going to cause you harm. But if I were to say, cut off a bit of skin, slice a bit away of muscle, isolate a bone, isolate some cartilage, a fingernail, these things, and move them into bits and pieces, would that still trigger you?
No, actually.
Okay.
Parts
Great.
separately, but also I'm not unaffected with what you said. If you want me to help you, I will. I'll help
That's
all
where
of us.
I was going with it.
Yes, you weren't giving it to me straight. You were waffling.
Now,
you
to
were
be honest,
waffling,
you almost
Diarmuid.
set us on fire. So I was being careful.
I did almost set us on fire. You are
Actually, it was
correct,
just
but
me.
I didn't. But I
Being
didn't.
careful. Well, I think you say that, but hey, kerosene isn't, a small light. It explodes.
I'm also
so
not in charge of that move, which also thank you so much. I
Yeah,
think
it
I
was a
would have
smart
lit
one.
the house on fire.
Well,
yes.
Doctor, I do have to say,
Um,
in spite of everything that has been said so far, I will say to you exactly what I told Miss MacMillan. It's okay to believe the unbelievable.
Right, because it used to be that the things we know now and take for granted every day weren't a thing not that long ago. We've got cars. I remember when it was just horses. It wasn't that long ago.
It's true.
Automatic rifles. That's a thing. That's brand new. That didn't happen but a couple of years ago. That's... If you'd have told me when I was in the war that I could just have a rifle with 10 bullets to 13 bullets and a blank 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 in a matter of a couple of seconds, I'd have called you crazy. But now it's every day, and it's only gonna get worse. Why do you think I'm so fascinated with a Tommy gun? You can put 30 bullets down range in under a second. That is insane. Lead dangerous. And we are dealing with some very dangerous things. So there's two things that I've decided while we've been listening and talking here. One, I very much need your help. I decided that even before now, but I
Yes.
very much need your help. And two, I very much need to get a hands on a Tommy gun if we're going to run into one of these things again, because then we can take care of whatever we need to. Also, what was this about the blonde man? Did anybody break that down?
Unfortunately,
Still,
Miss
I-
Lorelei has gone to bed, so
well,
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm asking you because that was a little strange to me.
I noted it for sure.
yes,
She's been acting weird.
yes,
since we
I
got
was
here,
going to
and
say
before.
that.
To be fair, all of you are acting
We-
weird. You just got here. Maybe an
Says
hour
the
ago.
person who doused themselves in kerosene.
To
Okay,
stop
we can
you
all.
all from continuing to disparage the
Which,
didn't
by
say
the
it
way,
was not-
again, respect, because that
Yeah.
really could have gone badly for you.
Didn't
Yes.
say it wasn't effective. Just saying it wasn't exactly a rational decision.
No, it wasn't. It was completely irrational, and that's why it
What's-
surprised me.
Irrational is that you have 4 plates in your hand, and I need 2 of them right now.
Oh, well,
There is a soft knock on the parlor door. I'm sorry to interrupt. Is everything all right? The
Oh,
hour is quite late.
So sorry. We are just such fast friends. It's hard. It's like a slumber party in here.
I've got a big
Travel
hangry.
always leaves me a bit
Apologies.
restless as well. No,
Yes.
no. Certainly, I hope the food is up to your liking. But yes, please, if you need anything else, I'll be around. Thank you.
Just very gentle way of being like,
He's-
please go to bed, you crazy,
Yes.
you monsters. It is like 4 a.m. Go to sleep. Like,
Truly.
At this point, with the length and Eden, you're sitting by the fire, doing your best to enjoy this actually quite good food. But yeah, it's all just coming crashing in. The few hours that you've known these people, it's felt like days, and just the amount of that you have to take in this moment. But yeah, the three of you stand there a bit cowed as the door closes behind Keating.
Well, let's eat quickly if I'm going to look at a leg.
Yeah, I mean, literally, Diarmuid just sort of stuffs his face real quick and drops the plates, but brings the whiskey.
But the three of you do your best to enjoy what there is. Probably, Diarmuid, you're having to drink a little more whiskey to just not even smell the smell of this thing on the floor next to you and try to enjoy this meal. But as the three of you prepare yourselves for some more grim business before going to sleep, we're going to take intermission.
For my demon-born, half-elemental, catfolk, warlock, bard, multi-class with a bunny wizard familiar, but here she is. Thank you so much for printing her.
Yeah, sure, Jen. No problem. Now face my wrath! You fools! You'll never defeat me. Now face the wrath.
Why is he so hot? What?
I think it's just that epic miniature. It's really doing a lot for me, too.
Yeah, maybe. But he's also kinda...
Silence! As I was saying, face the wrath of my metal army, crafted here in my Eldritch Foundry.
Dude, where'd you get all these minis?
I'm subscribed to Eldritch Foundry's Eldritch Unlimited with unlimited STL downloads. Now, can we get back to...
Eldritch Foundry's amazing! I never thought I'd have the perfect mini for my demon-born, half-elemental, catfolk, warlock, bard multi-class with a bunny wizard familiar, but here she is. Thank you so much for printing her.
Yeah. Sure, Jen. No problem. Now face my wrath!
Diarmuid, Charlotte, and Eden find themselves in the parlor of this beautiful Scottish manor home with a reheated dinner of roast vegetables and a tasty pudding. But as you each kind of reach near the bottom of your plate, a grim determination seems to set over you as, well, that telltale smell starts to hit your nostrils, and you know that there is business afoot, so to speak. I didn't even mean to do that.
Ew.
Disadvantage.
I love it.
No. Minus 10 to your luck.
Didn't even mean to do that, but it did.
Punishment.
But I did.
But I
So
did it.
triumphant.
I might even call the episode that. Don't push me.
Episode Don't Push Me.
Horrible.
But you've been instructed where the formaldehyde that you requested it probably is, and yeah, what do you do as you finish your meals here in this parlor?
Yeah, as Diarmuid finishes the food, he indicates, "Hey, I think I'm gonna go get this formaldehyde and take care of this outside in the outhouse or outbuilding or the garage or whatever it is." He said, "Feel free to come with me, or you can wait a little bit while I sort of slice it up and get it ready. It's totally up to you, Doctor."
No, I think that I'd like to keep my eyes on it now.
All right.
And I'll go with you. I am feeling particularly comforted by your presence.
Great, lovely. Do you have any gloves, Doc?
Yes. Actually, why don't you the garage? Would you like me to meet me in the garage? I'll just put my stuff upstairs, grab my medical kit, and meet you downstairs.
Great. Sounds good. And I'll make my way outside. Eden, are you coming?
Yeah, of course. I think Eden pulls out a pair of gloves that she has, just like standard, like I think they're like leather gloves, but follows you outside. I think that she looks at. We saw shapes out by like the outhouses, right? Not the outhouses, but like the houses off in the distance, right?
You saw just a few
shape of a car.
structures sort of around. Yes, yeah, and you did see one building that looked to have the shape of an automobile inside.
Okay.
That would probably be one of the closest ones to the house, and also one of the larger, smaller buildings.
Yeah. Well, I think she wants to investigate, but we've already been to one place we shouldn't have been to, and she's not going to push it and make it 2 in one night. So I think she'll just note that she wants to investigate that later. But we'll take the lead on getting them to the garage.
Okay. Diarmuid, you take this leg.
Well, I ask, I take the leg, and I'm also going to ask Eden to carry the formaldehyde with her gloved hands.
Absolutely.
And if you open the front door, and you probably care to do so quietly, but if you open the front door, you do see on the steps out front 2 bottles labeled formaldehyde.
Great.
And yes, and the 2 of you set off in the direction, and you do see there's no lights on or anything like that, but you do see one building, which is clearly the garage.
Oh, Eden, do you have anything to make fire?
Would I?
I think the doc does, unless she dumped it.
If you had a lighter or matches on you, I would say that's fine. I mean,
Yeah, I would say so. I would say, yeah.
I mean, I smoke, so I definitely have some matches, I imagine.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure, something that was a little bit more controllable than just a match type of thing. But that's it's fine. We've got enough. So this is going to get a little weird, I think.
As you say that is when Charlotte emerges. With
someone say weird.
Yeah, it's pretty much. She is gloved. She is masked. She is ready for surgery. She has like these glasses because she is just like there might be splatter. She is wearing different boots. I'm fully covered. And I just want that to be so clear. Also, what year is it?
1922.
1922. Okay, so penicillin has not yet been discovered. I just want to say that out loud.
Yeah, right.
Very fun.
Cool.
Important.
Yeah.
Well, Doc, I didn't realize we was actually gonna do surgery, but I guess that's probably a good idea.
And are we sure that we want to do anything to this tonight? Are we sure our wits are about us? And I don't think getting rid of it the same night that we got it is the solution.
Well, I think it's more of every time we keep it here and it's smellable by someone, they're going to start asking questions that we don't have the answers to. And I'm concerned about that mostly.
And, because this is a foreign entity, I don't know what its decomposition rate is. I know both of us to say that it'll even be here tomorrow.
Actually,
it's going.
That's a good point that you make.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes, sir.
Based on my extensive experience with various forms of rotting bodies,
Yeah.
how fast does this seem more fast than I might expect a normal human?
I think standing out here, so if you're having this conversation out in the front of the house, it's basically.
I think we're walking to the garage, but yeah,
I think you'd have to inspect it closer to be able to tell.
Okay,
but there's been you don't feel it. Still feels solid.
Yeah,
you don't feel.
I meant mostly on the smell alone, but that's fine.
Yes.
It's fine if I can't tell from that, and we got to go do that. That's fine.
But the three of you quickly make your way across the dark grounds, illuminated somewhat by the festive lights on the outside of the house. But it's quite cold, obviously. And Diarmuid, you lead the way as the three of you make your way, leaves crunching under your feet, and you find this garage with the door slightly open. You see in it a beautiful Crossley 3-liter automobile. Yes, it's quite expensive. It's obvious that Mr. MacMillan quite enjoys his automobiles.
That is a piece of work there. Whoa.
But off to the side, you see an open space and some a work table and things of that nature, which seems, like an ideal place to do any sort of handiwork.
Great.
Fair enough.
So we should maybe put it on this table, clear the space. This is a garage, so I assume there's tools in this space, unless anyone has a bone saw, a scalpel.
Oh, I've got this knife, and he pulls what looks like a very large, almost Bowie style knife from his boot. That'll cut through bone.
Excellent.
And I've also got these, and he takes his hat off and he flips it over and flips up the bottom part of the flat part of his cap.
Yes.
And inside of it, you can see what look like 5 razor blades sort of stuck underneath the cap, and he pulls one from the middle. And this I was
okay.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah. If you don't know, a flat cap becomes a pretty good weapon pretty quickly, and it's pretty safe as long as you remember you've got blades in it. But learn that one on the streets.
Charlotte thinks about her pillbox hats, and if she can put razor blades in them.
Sure. Giving you ideas. You guys are
a horrible
influence on each other already.
Do you have another set of gloves I might use?
I do. And she opens up her medical kit is like a black patent leather. It is very luxurious of a bag. But it's one of those bags you only buy once and you use it for the rest of your life. So it's well made. She takes out a pair of gloves, like just disposable sterile gloves.
Thank you. So Morgan, do you want me to describe what I'm doing, or would you rather me just sort of like say what I'm doing and then
you put it down and you've prepared the space as best you can in this garage, this former stable. You do see hay and leaves around where things have been spread off in it. And as you're right, there are tools around, but they're like, they're hardware tools and not really anything surgical. Though if you needed, like you said, a hacksaw or something like that, you might be able to find it. But as you thump down this hunk of flesh wrapped in your coat, you're going to need a new coat as you start to unwrap, like the worst Christmas present ever, the coat from around this hideous shape. As you peel away the layer, and a full layer of that viscous silvery fluid stretches between the layers, between the leg and the coat, in threads that kind of stretch in between. And that stench becomes quite a bit stronger as you sort of you're almost rocked back for a moment.
Charlotte hands both of you masks because this is not her first rodeo. Surgery's weird, and it smells weird in there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But the pale flesh hangs in heavy folds off of whatever bone structure there is in this. The bottom portion, that could be called a foot, sort of looks shapeless, like a flat, heavy lump. What are you attempting to do?
So what I'd like to do is really threefold. One, I'd like to separate the epidermis layer. One, if this thing has an epidermis, I would like to remove parts of it. Two, if it has a muscle structure, I want to isolate muscle. Three, if it has bone, I would also like to isolate or shave some bone off. Largely what I'm looking for are the parts that we normally have, fingernails, arteries, that kind of stuff. I'm also, once I have all of that, I can go into what I would like to do with those things. But mostly it's the ichor that I'm really interested in. So that's probably first what I'll deal with is it caustic? Like, does the jacket look like it's been burned at all?
The jacket does not seem to have been burned at all.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem to have corroded the material or anything like that. It's certainly leaving some discoloration, as it would. But it does seem viscous and silvery, and as I described it, has oddly reflects the light like gasoline on a concrete surface or something like that. And if you wanted to just simply take a sample of that, that's easily enough done. I won't even make a roll for that. There's plenty.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to get as much of the ichor as we can isolated from anything else.
Sure.
Enough to experiment on a vial of some sort or however we do that. But go ahead.
No, I'm just supporting you because your instinct is exactly like Charlotte's as well. So I would say that letting you touch it, because she doesn't exactly want to touch it, but she will once it's separated. Right. Giving you little containers, little vials to put everything in. And some of them are vials like a little beaker vial. Some of them are the petri dish slide. So it's to actually see like the thin pieces of matter.
Yeah. So largely he stops and he goes, damn, I wish it was summertime. Could just grab a grasshopper and see what this viscous ichor does to something living.
Oh, interesting.
Well, you know, I mean, I use a mouse, but I don't have any of those.
We can understand what it's made of, right? First.
Sure.
So to further dissect or take pieces off of this, what would you like, or inspect? I would think either a medicine roll. I would also accept a science roll of some kind, or if there's something else you have in mind, pitch me. But yeah.
The pieces that he takes off, I'd like to examine with medicine.
Sure.
Or I can assist you.
I think he clearly knows what he wants, but he doesn't have this experience. So he's
Are you just directing me and I'm
no, I mean I think he's sort of like there, like trying or like about to do it, but he's sort of like hesitant because Doctor, I don't have, as you can see, I'm not all that great with a knife. especially if I need to be super accurate. So I can certainly cut this.
I was gonna say, as if you're just looking to carve off a piece of flesh, that's
Yeah.
done easily enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all the parts that, you know, I'd like to see if it's got capillaries or, veins or the like. Does it have cartilage? Does it have tendons? You know, how close to human or animal anatomy is this thing?
So with that, as it is obvious, this is not coming back to life. Like it is now. It is very clear to me that this is just flesh.
Yes, I mean, and it doesn't certainly look like anything like human flesh at this point.
Yes.
But so it's hard to, I mean, it was gray to begin with or pale to begin with, so it's not as if it's lost any like further showcasing of life. But as Diarmuid does a bit something to it or something, and possibly even, as I said, like a knife touches part of it, there's zero sign of anything happening.
The first thing I would like to do is to make sure it can be penetrated by a knife, that it's not super resistant to that type of cutting.
As they're doing this, I think similar to the moment earlier where someone was standing outside of the door waiting, I would love to just step outside. I am a watcher more than anything, so I'm watching, but I would like to just step outside. My immediate instinct is that someone could be, in fact, watching us and listening to them talk very candidly, which is a big fear.
Sure. You take a powder.
We're being weird
you
scientists
guys
in here, so you're
this.
right.
I'm like,
You
please
go
speak in
outside.
English.
Yeah, we're talking about cross sections and
And
capillaries.
a far more pleasant scent of pine and maybe like burnt leaves from the day hits your nose as you step out of this garage, as you take a deep breath. But back inside,
I would like to, once I know that it's pierced,
yes.
I'd like to pick it up and I want to test articulation. So essentially, because this is a non-human animal, but bones and parts act the same if they are meant to walk. The physics is the same.
Certainly.
Exactly what's in my head
Right.
there.
And so I am testing its articulation.
And I love it.
Yep. I was going to become a doctor. I studied a lot of medicine for a long time.
I'm sorry, TTRPG players being nerds?
Nerds?
Yeah,
I have
I'm
heard of. That
neurodivergent.
is
You think
first
this
I've
is
heard of
not
this.
common
a thing I haven't
at
researched?
all. Yeah, not common at all. Us?
But
Yeah, so I'm testing reflex, I'm testing articulation, and I'd like to take some of the blood parts because blood, as we know, is made 90% water. It's 90% water, 8% protein, 0.9% inorganic salts, which is a collection of many other variables. But this is viscous, so that means the water content in it is less.
Is lower. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That is an absolutely fair presumption that you can make just even from seeing that there is something right. There is something, this does not move how blood in a body would move.
Yes.
Diarmuid, I will say, even as you tried to pierce it or cut off or anything like that, this flesh, this heavy hanging flesh, it is quite tough. So much so that you think that your bullets probably maybe would have done even more damage were it not for this. That it takes, a good push to break the surface with this knife.
Got it.
It's an exoskeleton.
I wouldn't go that far. That doesn't
like the
feel
skin of a rhino?
Yeah, it's more similar to a rhino or an elephant where it's a thick
Got it.
calcification.
Natural. Yeah, got it. Sort of like a
of the
natural.
skin.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Well, it's definitely kind of like an elephant hide. So,
does it like what do the legs do when I bend it? Like does it
Right.
okay, does it bend? Okay, so I'm so sorry. This is so weird. Okay, a leg does this, right?
Yep.
Does it do
So-
that or is it backwards?
So you don't really have, and again, this thing was long and distended. So you don't have a full knee joint.
That's okay, that's what I'm checking too, because if it's long, it needs to be able to balance its weight somehow. Ron is like, yes.
Well, and so you go sort of reaching around where the ankle might be. You're looking, as I
Right.
said, for articulation and how a foot would move.
Mhm.
And it's, well, goes without saying, it's odd.
Yeah.
Because everything in it is sort of simultaneously fused, but looser. Where it's as if you can, like, it's what you said, where it's like, all right, if this tall thing, it must be able to, but there's something about it that feels like how it necessarily like might even have trouble supporting its own weight.
So I am gonna, I will happily roll for this if you want me to, but can I discern whether or not this has multiple legs? Because if this one thing cannot support its weight, the assumption is it can't, because there are multiple legs.
Roll a science roll.
Okay.
This is I'll give you an answer to that question, but I wanna know
Okay.
if you'd think of something first. If you have biology or anything like that, but
I don't. I just have medicine.
medicine. Okay. But yeah, give me just sort of give me a basic intelligence roll.
Okay. That is a hard success.
Nice.
That was a 33 under 80.
Amazing. With the basic, yeah, with that, there is. So, you're right in that seemingly this doesn't seem like enough, and you felt it land with some strength in the cellar, in that boiler room. You heard the thud and an impact as it happened. But also, and kind of connecting that with the way it moved, even though you never saw the full thing, with the way it moved when this leg was detached effectively by Eden Diarmuid, the way it seemed to stumble backwards, you get the sense that this was not its only leg. That seems clear to you. But the other thing that seems also clear to you is that it's as if walking isn't this creature's natural form of movement.
Okay, because that's where my
Walking on
next.
hard, firm ground does not seem to be
Oh.
something that its feet do exceptionally well.
Oh. Okay, that's messed up. But I was like, I got it, because I was thinking like on fours, like multiple, but you mean on surface. That's wild.
Closer to something that might move through water.
And that's a sound that Charlotte's making.
But the way this articulates,
Yeah.
there's nothing about it that feels strictly fish-like.
Yeah.
But there is
But-
something where it seems, for something that seems to have feet and what feels like a version of an ankle, it doesn't feel like this thing has evolved to move on land.
In fact, if I am thinking that, then I am gonna say out loud, because I don't know if it's true, so I'm gonna say out loud. This thing, it doesn't seem to move with the same gravity that we're used to. It seems heavy, but also it's heavy for us, but I don't think it's heavy for where it's from. Does that make sense, Diarmuid?
Are you saying that it's not...
Like, if a whale, for instance,
Right.
Whales can move through water easily.
Oh, mass.
Right? Mass. But if a whale is
Sorry, you said weight.
The weight of a whale too. If the weight of the whale is to be on the surface, beached, that's how whales die. Because they're not used to that pressure. Or
are you saying this thing evolved in water?
Well, I can't surmise where it evolved from. I don't think that water is relevant. I think the mass
you
in which
mentioned whales, so I figured.
No, but a whale is the physiology of a whale,
right,
is so that it can exist well under high pressure,
right,
in the water,
right.
But you take a whale and you put it on land,
it dies from its crushing its own weight, right?
Correct. But
I see what you mean.
Yes.
So wherever it came from either has more gravity or was buoyant.
Sure. No. The more gravity part, probably. The buoyant part, we'd have to test that with water.
For sure, right. But I guess if you're saying... Anyway, I think I get what you're saying.
Yes.
Here's the thing. If it doesn't run on land... You say it doesn't work like our legs, basically. It doesn't work like land legs.
No.
Well, that's unfortunate and also a little weird. Creepy a bit.
I thought it was going to be a giant spider, if I'm going to be honest. This is actually probably better, in a way.
Or worse.
Or worse,
right,
I guess. That's true.
Okay.
It's not moving. That's a plus in my book.
All right. Well, the first things, while you continue to examine and cut this thing up, I'm going to take one of these here vials of blood. And just, Morgan, I'm assuming there's a bucket in the garage.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'll grab that bucket, pour out whatever's in it, take it outside the garage. Just make sure we're looking all right. Eden, are you all right out
right
here?
there by the... Yep.
Sickening in there, starting to make you get to your stomach, was it?
Just a little bit.
All right. Figured I'd take a smoke break because it is a lot of stress right now, and I'm trying to stay awake, and I hear they're good for me. So, and he pops out a cigarette and lights it. He pulls the bucket from inside the garage, drops it in the front, and you see him hold up a little vial, and he shows it to you. Isn't that weird? Look how it, like, and he turns it over, and he's showing you, like, you see how thick it is?
Is it supposed to be like that?
Well, I mean, if it's not blood, I don't know if you've ever seen blood in a vial, but it's not thick like this. Anyway, and he throws it in.
Yeah, it's this almost gelatinous viscosity.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He tosses the vial into the bucket hard enough so that it smashes and and opens the contents into the bucket. And he pulls out a match and says, "Well, we're about to learn something." And he touches the match to his cigarette to light it, and he tosses it in the bucket, and then takes a step back. As he's doing so, he's taking a step back.
Eden, you're not even sure why, but you almost jump backwards as you said, as you kind of like feel this like this strange experiment happening in front of you. And you both hang back, and there is as the match drops into the bucket, and nothing happens. And you look down,
match just goes out,
and the match fizzles in this layer of clearish silvery liquid at the bottom of this bucket.
Well, that tells us one thing. And he pulls out, just to make sure, he pulls out his like water canteen, And he pours a little water in the bucket just to make sure there isn't another. Because sometimes when you pour water on things, it sizzles and it explodes, aka solid potassium. Anyway,
Sure. Okay, so you pour water into it? Again, you pour water into it, and it does seem to break up the silvery liquid somewhat. Does seem to water it down. But you just
slightly
see it
water soluble. Thank you.
But it does. You just sort of see it like chunks starting to flow in this little. So you've made the worst soup ever.
Yeah.
But
And as I'm finishing the cigarette, I'll open a door to the garage and say, "So it doesn't burn. The blood, the ichor doesn't burn,
Okay.
and it seems to be at least slightly water soluble."
So define slightly. And at this point, Charlotte is like in there. I am looking at capillaries.
Okay.
So
Certainly. Roll a medicine check.
great. I'm gonna spend 5 luck points for a regular success.
Very cool. Okay, yeah, mark that down. As you're able to, you're a moment into this as you're now been left alone in this strange garage on this strange property doing this, and you even take a breath of realization and just the smallest moment of strange pride as you feel like a scientist again for a moment. As you feel like a doctor.
Yeah, she is humming as she's doing this because she is the most comfortable when she is just left alone in her practice. And so yeah, she's just humming just a popular song from the 1920s. Pick your pick.
For sure.
But she's humming a hot
row your boat.
Yeah, row your boat.
Sure, I love it.
And she
Red wine
feels
supernova. No,
peaceful.
God, I love Hot to Go.
Yeah.
I hope she plays Hot to Go. It's 1922.
That's the episode title.
Nailed
Do
it.
that.
I hope she plays Hot to Go.
Rhapsody in Blue.
Hey,
There
there
we
you
go.
go. So Charlotte, you get started. You do know that you're gonna need a lot more time and probably better instruments than you have right here to do a full dissection and analysis of things.
Yeah.
But you are able to cut through this flesh and get it down and sort of peel some away from this bone. And the bone itself, it is bone. It is thicker and it does run through the middle of the leg as a bone, as a skeletal structure should. But as your scalpel or your knife touches it,
My Bowie knife, sorry.
your Bowie knife, it also ever so slightly feels slightly softened and gelatinous.
That's fascinating.
But it's still it's harder, it's still strong enough. But normal like a bone or a whale bone, or as you're seeing this, there is something ever so slightly squishier about it. And as you're looking at the flesh around it, you know they must be there, but capillaries, flow of blood, it's not really visible. It's as if it's all fused. And you might need a microscope or something stronger to really see if they were there. Because it's not visible at this moment through this thick hide.
Yeah.
But then underneath it seems to be this squishier, jelly-like flesh.
Okay. I'd like to take samples of everything to examine tomorrow morning. We're going to probably turn in because Charlotte has 2 thoughts, and she says them out loud, so you're free to hear it. Either This is, again, an insect-like creature with an open circulatory system, which means that blood just exists in there without arteries. It is viscous.
Crabs. Like
So-
crabs.
Yes.
Diarmuid leads in from the girls. Crabs.
Yeah, yes.
Crabs.
Yes. Just like crabs.
Crab
And,
jump scare.
If that's the case, that would make sense, because if I was looking for capillaries, because I was trying to understand if this thing has a heart, because heart pumps blood.
Right.
And Morgan's like, what do you mean? But things, pump blood, and if it doesn't have a heart, and it has this thick blood, the capillaries would have to be thick to carry the thick blood. And if I don't see them, I will have to investigate to see if they're fused further, or I will come to the conclusion that it is an open circulatory system like a crab, and thus doesn't need capillaries because the blood is just there.
I love it. You take all these samples, your mind working overtime. You find yourself, as you're putting in this last bit, like you're getting very tired.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
It's been a long
Doctor,
day.
I think it's time to go to bed.
I think you're right. Where do we put? We put this guy, this fellow.
Well, if you're done, I'll go in there, chop it up, throw it in the bucket, and make sure it burns.
Oh, that's great. I hit my wall. This is the most socialization I have done in a long time as well. It's sleepy time for Charlotte.
Diarmuid, if you're
Yeah.
done, then I
Yeah.
can escort Miss Charlotte upstairs.
Yeah, I think I'm done. I was just going to drop a couple of pieces into the formaldehyde just so they keep, and if we need further study after learning things, then we've got a bit left.
Sure.
All right, I can find my way back.
Eden, you and Charlotte make your way. You're pulling off these gloves.
Yeah.
Didn't even need
And-
them. I didn't need them.
Charlotte, Charlotte, you're exhausted, but you're also buzzing a little with
Yeah.
discovery. And by the way, where did you put everything? Are you bringing it into the house with you? The samples that you took.
The samples, yes, I put them all in my my medicine bag, because I want them to be safe, and that's the safest place I know that they can be.
Certainly. But Eden, you even feel it where you notice the change in Charlotte's demeanor as she has gone, even just in the last few hours, from someone. It's been a roller coaster.
I've explored the full gambit of my emotions.
Truly.
now that it's 3 a.m. I mean, and both of you stifling yawns. It's you do get the sense that like she seems even more resolute and stronger than she did. It's hard to believe that it was just a few hours ago that you stood across from each other. One of you drenched in kerosene in the cellar of the golf club. But you make your way upstairs. You see one room which seems to have been taken, and then you, using the instructions that Keating gave you, you see two more bedrooms, one with double beds, two beds, and the other with a single.
Before we go to sleep, Eden,
Yes.
I realized in the commotion, has anybody yet tonight asked you if you're okay?
I'm perfectly fine. Honestly.
Are you? I mean, we just dissected perhaps this creature, a fascinating one. And, there's a lot of things, and you can be okay, but I'm assuming you're really not. You can tell me you are, but if you do need to talk, my room's just across from yours.
Unfortunately, the things that I've seen in my life much stranger than this and somehow way more mundane. I think for some, when they see unbelievable things, the mind can't comprehend it. And for me, you can see the most unbelievable of things and, well, allow it to pass over you and not through you, if that makes sense.
Charlotte kind of gives a it's not a smirk, it's just like a gentle like smile, and says, we are truly a bunch of weirdos, aren't we? This whole lot.
I would say so, but you're the most interesting people I've met in a long time, so if you can believe it, I'm out and about in the woods for most of the day, so this is quite refreshing.
Do you like people?
Not really.
Me neither. Well, I do. That's a lie. I'm sorry. I tried to connect, and I really do like people. I like them. They're nice. I care for them, but lately, it's been harder to like them. But I like you, and I like Lorelei, even though I'm pretty sure I scared her into a room.
I'm pretty sure too.
Which, if I'm going to be honest, if she went through, was snatched away, being afraid of me, well, I should apologize tomorrow, shouldn't I?
Yeah, when did you two meet?
Who?
You and Lorelei.
Oh, I'm sorry. We met, when I met Diarmuid.
What I'll say about
5 days ago.
5 days ago.
What I'll say about her trepidation is that, unfortunately, people can carry the most good in them and also the most evil. And she may not know which to trust, but she does know you to be good.
Okay.
And I know you to be good, and Diarmuid knows you to be good. But things get to people sometimes when we see things that scare us. It's easier to think and lead with our fear. So.
Makes sense. Well, I'll apologize tomorrow. And if you feel bored, you can come and chat with me. But not tonight. We're tired. We need sleep.
Yes, it is very high time for a rest. You can absolutely take the single. I think Diarmuid will appreciate. I don't know. I just feel like I should room with Diarmuid. I don't know what it is. I feel like we have a lot to talk about. He yelled crabs in there, and I just feel like I've seen crabs.
Oh,
and I just have things to learn.
I do feel a bond, like a bond, and I don't want to say anything, but I do feel like that one exists. So yeah. Also, I do prefer to room alone, if that's okay. So thank you for the offer.
Of course.
And with that very pleasant, only slightly awkward good night to each other, Lorelei, you bathed alone again in the privacy of an unfamiliar but perfectly comfortable, perfectly cozy room. You're able to further inspect the black and blue skin over your ribs on your left side, the cuts on your arm that have now been cleaned but still have an angry red about them.
Mm-hmm.
And you find yourself reaching across your arm. You can feel yourself shaking. What do you do?
I mean, as soon as she's in the privacy of the bathroom, she takes down the mask. And she's not okay
No.
with what she's seen. She disassociates for safety. It just happens. She is on autopilot. She's not there. And she gets herself cleaned and she gets herself dressed and she looks over her wounds, and then she spends a significant amount of time just standing still in front of the mirror, finding ways to try and ground herself. And a lot of it is holding the planchette that she has on a chain in her hand so hard that it pinches her palm a little. And she's trying to talk herself down, but she is on the verge of some kind of breakdown after what she saw.
You're touching all of these. When you touch the post of the bed or the frame of the mirror or the corner of the bathtub, it's as if for just the slightest of moments you expect your hand to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it doesn't. And you watch, as if you need to reassure yourself that these things are here. And they're real. And they're corporeal. But you are able to bring yourself to enough of a state of comfort to go to sleep. And you turn off the lights. And you lay your head down. And eventually, somehow impossibly, sleep finds you. Probably from just the sheer exhaustion and length of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point in the night, it's so hard to tell when, you have what feels like a horrible dream.
Mm.
At first, all you see is darkness. Then darkness on darkness. Moving and shifting like a horrible oil slick on a calm midnight sea. Then emerging slowly out of that darkness, you see a grasping hand. A human hand.
Mm.
Then a torso. And then a head. A familiar head. The face you saw in the photo downstairs. Arthur MacMillan. And as his face breaks free of this darkness, like a gasp before sinking again below the waves, you hear, "Help! Whoever you are!
I'll try to reach for him.
The cellar!" And you do. And your fingertips touch.
Oh.
And the sound is cut off as the darkness swallows him once again. Those last words echoing in your ears as you startle yourself awake in your bed. The fingers of dawn are barely just breaking through the window outside. It's too early. The chirping of birds. You look around. And there's light. There's light around you. Right now, in this moment, you're awake. You grip the sheets. You grip yourself. You're awake. That sound, that voice, those last two words. The cellar. And you look outside, out the window. The corners of the golf club, barely visible. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
How?
Ah.
How?
Oh my god.
Lorelei,
s-
why?
Lorelei!
What am I going to do with these folks? Thank you so much to everybody. We are going to read Patreon names here in just a moment. Thank you to this cast. Thank you. We didn't have a lot of rolls tonight. We got some nice interactivity though. That's coming as a surprise later for some of you folks. So thank you to our friends, Dungeon Speed Run, Idaho Judd, Angel Devilson. I saw Schwa Guy in there. I saw a few things coming in. We're very grateful for all the help to the show. We're grateful to you new patrons. We love telling stories like this. Obs.
Obs.
I'm scared, but I'm having a good time.
We're having
terrified.
a good
This is
time.
fine.
And by the way,
great time.
Our amazing friend Sean could not be here tonight, so even though they can't see us, thank you so much to Alex, who is helping doing
Alex. Oh my gosh.
We're so grateful to them for stepping in and being so amazing tonight. Yes, but yeah, we love the show. At the end of every show, we like to read the names of patrons, certain higher level patrons in the style of their choosing. I love when I just hear a bunch of heavy exhales at the end of these episodes.
Upset. Like I'm genuinely so like alone in my apartment, like kind of low key.
I am nervous. I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
Oh my goodness. Do we have the name?
Yes.
Force of Shadow in front of us. Beautiful. Let's end on a lighter note, shall we?
Okay.
Oh my goodness. We have suggestions tonight for Team Force of Shadow. Our suggestion is a teenager getting caught sneaking back into the house late at night.
Ow! What a total fail waffle. Oh
my
window.
God! Don't leak in.
Honey, there's somebody leaking, breaking in.
I'll get him. Ow! I think I'm nuts. What's on the stairwell?
Get out of the gateway, guy.
Stevie, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Hi.
Be careful, we might have to abracadabra them.
Whoa! Hey, no, honey, it's the kids. It's the kids.
Oh.
This is Idaho Judd was holding a thing.
A thing?
Concert.
And the Black Hikari was playing, and it was only
Black
for an
Hikari is
hour.
the one who does that music.
Yes.
That music. Yeah,
that
the good one.
music.
But you've never listened to any of their albums. You don't
Darling.
know.
You
I
never
don't
listened to
Darling.
me.
For them, Gateway Guy was
Darling,
opening for
I
them.
know how often you would leave the house because of Fallout Boy, so don't you dare hold this against our children.
What's a Fallout Boy?
Is it like a gateway guy or?
I'm sorry.
It's like the Black Hikari, but a total fail waffle.
They are so much better than Black Hikari. And you know what? We're going to stay up and we're going to listen to Fallout Boy's last two
I'm so
records.
tired.
No,
Let us go
you
to
stay up.
bed.
No,
This is your punishment. This is your punishment.
We're going to listen to all
Why
of
are
Fallout
their
Boy's
old people
discography.
music?
so long? All of the titles are so long.
Oh my God! Thank you, Team Force of Shadow. It's like the variation on "You want to smoke cigarettes? Smoke the entire
That's
pack."
exactly
Smoke
what
the
I
whole
had.
pack.
Smoke the whole
You
pack.
listen to all of the emo music right now.
Going downtown, Jimmy. That's right. Just picture your father like nodding like this.
Crying.
Number one with a bullet. I said it.
These lyrics better be memorized by
Weirdest.
tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, thank you for Team Force of Shadow and for Team Force of Light. Again, we're getting so many amazing apropos suggestions around this show. For Team Force of Light, mediums and psychics all trying to one-up each other at a seance.
I'm sensing something deep. Is it an angel devilson, the presence of an angel devilson across your shoulder, Martin? Right there.
No, it's not. No.
I feel like you would see it.
I know, because what I see very,
Yeah.
very clearly with my third eye, just
Yes.
open wide, is a
Mm.
festive life preserver hanging over Martin's head. Don't you see it?
If you turn the sign upside down, you get a Tuo mask.
Oh,
What do you
you know
think?
what? I do see that because my chakras are all lit up. My chakras lit up.
Up,
Root,
up,
sacral,
up,
middle one,
up.
heart.
The one at the head, most importantly.
Yes.
That's where the third eye is. Yes.
I
Yes.
did several
yeah.
extensive dungeon speedrun readings before this evening, and I
Oh,
will
did
say
you?
that I drew the inverted Braba.
I'm
did
sorry you did that. That is so well. Good job, Carlton.
Is that
Good
when it's
job.
upside down or right side up?
Now, maybe it's just my work with the Ghostbusters Quick Response Unit. Or
Okay,
maybe
here
I'm
we
just
go.
unbearably
Here it
loquacious.
is. We knew this
Okay,
was
bring it
coming.
up again. Why
We
don't
knew
you?
this was
Or
coming.
maybe
Yes.
it might just be that I'm unbearably loquacious, but
Of course.
you're all wrong.
Oh,
It's just the jewels on the table. That's all we're feeling is the energy from the jewels here on
is
the
the
Oh,
table.
energy.
really? You go
Not
to
some
Were
sort.
these-
real once, and now you're so different.
yeah.
Were these just
Oh,
jewels
hello.
charged under the full moon?
Oh my God, we forgot
Mine
to charge
was.
the just jewels. Did we? Who was on charging duty?
I charged mine, and my Fenderil was charged under the full moon. Thank you very much.
Well, somebody has to catch that angel Devilson. So
I feel like it should
Brought
be
up the
City
Ghostbusters
Racing
Quick
Girl.
Response
Just-
Unit again.
Not it. Not it. Not it.
just to be a city
Girl,
racing
just-
girl about it. I
yeah,
mean, we
just
could
to
invoke
race
the
through the
city
street.
racing girl ritual, which would
Yes.
encapsulate.
You know what?
Holding
That's actually a
hands,
good idea.
holding hands,
Yes.
yes.
All right.
Hold
well,
hands.
You know, if we
Yes,
have
city
to.
racing girl.
We hold, yes,
We'll
invoking
stand in the middle of the street during a
Yes.
race.
and
Yes.
go vroom.
Yes.
Okay, at the
Vroom,
same time.
vroom,
vroom, vroom.
You're all
I think this was
Vroom.
very, very helpful tonight. It's late.
You're
Boy.
welcome.
Too much fun.
God.
This show's too much fun. I love you guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lexi. Thank you, Surena. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you,
thank
Morgan.
you, Morgan.
Thank
To our amazing, to our amazing audience. We're so happy to have you with us. And boy, prepping this show is so interesting because I never know where we're gonna go. And
I'm sorry, you
Props
didn't
to
plan
you.
for us to be in surgery for like an hour.
Yeah, you
oh, I mean,
anatomy of various creatures.
I know everything about what I said tonight.
Yeah. None of it
I'm
was
not at all
about-
going to be watching this recording back and going, what did I just say?
A DM. Unheard of.
Morgan
What?
frantically typing
What?
crabs into
No,
Google.
I will say
Crabs.
crabs. Yes, crabs. I'm
No
going to be on
harm.
this.
Crabs.
I'm going to be on. I will say, though, I definitely had to make some connect. It's all tracking. I will say that I did not completely screw myself tonight by saying something that makes no sense. No, it's all tracking. In a way I'd never expect, which is beautiful. We love you, friends. Thank you so much, and we will be back next week. But until that time, humankind, be both.
Be both.
Bye.